is María Mínguez Arias, and I'm the Director of Operations at Aunt Lute. I joined Aunt Lute on February of 2019 when I answered a call for an operations director on Twitter. Yes, I got my job on Twitter, which still blows my mind. I had just joined social media because I had published my first book the year before, and I just wanted to get out there and really support my work, right? And then Twitter has changed my life in many different ways, and this has been one of them. I was looking for a part-time job to support my writing work, but also my family life. And I had been looking into education and translation, and it had never occurred to me to look into publishing because English is my second language. So I never thought there would be anything I could contribute to a publisher because, I don't have a perfect or superb language skills until I saw this operations director post, and I said, wait a second, I don't need to have a flawless command of the English language to support a press from the operations side. So I applied and I got it. And what I didn't anticipate is how both of my work, my jobs have been fitting on each other. I didn't know to what point they were going to intersect their paths. So, for example, working as an operations director at Aunt Lute is making me a better writer, but working as a writer, I think it's making me a better team member for Aunt Lute. I think I have a lot more to offer now. I love coming to work here. Our press is based in the Mission District in San Francisco, right? So I worked around the corner from when my mother grew up. My mother grew up, I think it's a 2-minute walk from here. Emigrated to Spain in her mid-20s, had her family there. I was the firstborn. I emigrated to this country in my mid-20s, and now I am working around the corner from where she grew up. So I feel like I connect to this work and this place in many different levels. I connect obviously intellectually, ethically, morally, but also very emotionally too, because of where I'm sitting right now. I see literature as the place where we reflect on what it means to be alive. And I think that the view of that experience has been very, very narrow historically. And I like to think that with my job at Aunt Lute, and also with my work as a queer woman and a writer and a mom writing in Spanish out of the United States, I'd like to think that with those two roles that I play, I'd like to think that I'm creating, I'm opening up spaces for new voices and new experiences to break free from the, European, white, heterosexual male narrative and status quo of literature. So that to me is the role of literature, reading it and writing it. That's how I see it. Our team is made of people from very different backgrounds and experiences, gender, sexual orientation, race, and even generations. And I think that makes this group so rich. And I think the work of Aunt Lute, it's much richer because of that. And I have never have a job where I experience that kind of exposure. And I think that comes across when we evaluate manuscripts, from when we evaluate manuscripts to when we organize events, or even just dealing with people, right? The work that is coming in, it's creatively and in content very daring, and it's really pushing things forward, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm excited about that. I believe we still have a bit of a work to do in the hiring department when it comes to Black women. I mean, right now we do not have a Black woman on either staff or internship, and I think that it's a great loss. I mean, I know Aunt Lute has them in the past, and I am sure we will have them in the future, but we do not have them right now, and that's a great loss right now. But what I can talk about is about what happened during the pandemic and the kind of work we've been doing to kind of look a little bit inward and evaluate and try to find out what kind of press we are, what kind of press do we want to be, and how do we want to relate to our authors, not only to our authors and readers or incoming authors, but also to ourselves and our communities. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that the work is not done. My personal opinion is that presses and us as individuals We just have to keep growing and changing to adapt to the changing world, and to basically just make it more equitable. My favorite part of writing from spaces that have been historically underrepresented, I actually find it very freeing, because I think you have no expectations when it comes to content or form or anything, because you don't owe anything to anyone. So you can just sit down and write and create, and I think it's very freeing. It's very liberating, and also I think it's very creatively inspiring. That's when it comes to writing. Now, when it comes to reading work that comes from underrepresented spaces, I think what happens is, first of all, I love it. I am exposed to new stories and new ways of telling stories that I've never seen before. And I think through that exposure, I think my understanding of what is possible in the world becomes much richer, and so it's making me better, but I think it's making the world a better place too. I got my job on Twitter, right?